Coming to you from Scenic the Basement at ICN Studios in Brooklyn, I'm Jana Jefferson, and this is And Friends with Jana Jefferson. Every other week, me and a new guest host each time are going to discuss the latest news in pop culture, the industry, life, and much more. And today's guest is none other than Zach Aaronson.
Oh my God, that's me.
I'm so excited, Zach. How are you?
Excited. I'm incredible to be here. I'm definitely nervous because I'm super self-conscious about my speaking voice. I always have been.
Don't be.
I'm not. I'm really trying not to be, but obviously I'm listening to myself back and hearing, a little bit more than I normally do. But after all these years, I'm a grown man now, and I just need to accept, this is my voice. This is what God gave me. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is how I sound. And I'm not trying to hide it.
I used to be the same way. I remember in elementary school when you would watch old videos of yourself and you're like, ugh, is that what my voice sounds like?
Oh my God.
So I've always been super self-conscious about what I sound like. But now I'm just like,
could never bear to watch any videos of myself or recordings of myself. I love to sing. You know that about me by now. And it's I cannot record myself or try to make a recording of me singing because I really do have to get over this because I would love to sing more. To just accept this is how it sounds, and people have responded very positively to my singing over the years, and so I need to be able to absorb that.
Sing and just live your singing life.
Just live my truth.
So guys, it's June, and June is Pride Month. And Zach is one of my besties, and he just so happens to be in the LGBTQ community.
The gayest. I know you can't see, it's a podcast, but I'm whipping out my ridiculous giant fan.
I'm telling you, Zach.
You can hear the wind on the microphone.
Zach has been one of my new closest friends. He's just the best.
You're the best.
Stop it. We work at Billboard and Vibe together, and he's just so much fun. We're both obsessed with Beyonce, so the Beyonce mood of the day is going to be a wang dang doodle. Zach has a Beachella shirt on right now, and he's just a perfect human being, and I'm so glad that you're here today. So let's get into this Beyonce mood of the day.
Yes.
What is your Beyonce mood of the day today?
I'm gonna go with 6-inch heels.
Yes.
She walked in the club like nobody's business. Because, girl, I grind from Monday to Friday, work from Friday to Sunday. Every time I would listen to that, I would do this weird thing with my hands. I go, she grind from Monday to Friday, work from Friday to Sunday. I don't know why with my hands.
I'm telling you, it really is one of my favorite songs from Lemonade, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because it's just I love when Beyonce gets to that deep register.
That real deep.
I was listening to Bills the other day, and at the very when they're doing the and you hear and I'm like, Beyonce is hitting those low notes.
Me through.
I love when she gets those nice deep notes. I love when she does that.
I love when she does everything.
Yes,
though, basically.
basically when she does.
I mean, Jana
anything.
did mention that I am wearing a Beachella shirt, but I also have Beyonce's signature tattooed on my arm as of a month ago. I roll deep with the Beehive for life. It is.
When did you become a fan?
Writings on the Wall album.
Okay, good.
Really.
That's when I became a fan as well.
Is when I was a little bit young to understand the difference between all of the girl groups at the time, and my very first album was TLC Fan Mail.
Yeah!
But if I'm really looking back, I think I thought that TLC was Destiny's Child. I mean, I was 7 years old. I give myself a pass. But yeah, when by the time Writings on the Wall came around, and then Survivor and Independent Women.
I feel like for me, because I got my dad gave me Writings on the Wall. That was 2000 or 1999. I think it was 1999 when Writings on the Wall came out. So
I'm picturing when they were filming the Bootylicious video, and she's like, the album debuted at number 1.
Oh my God. So I got Writings on the Wall, I think in 2nd grade. So I was 7. And then I got Survivor, that was in 3rd grade, and I was like, wow, growing up in a suburban New Jersey area, all we had was, all these other white girls. So I had Beyonce, and I had Kelly, and I had Michelle, and I had all these girls. I'm like, oh my God, they look like me, and they're pretty, and they're good at what they do. But then when Bootylicious came out, I'm telling you, that changed my life. I'm like, Beyonce is my girl. Bootylicious, you could not tell me that Bootylicious was not about me. I was like, I am this. This is me.
You could not tell me that every single Destiny's Child and Beyonce song is about me and written for me. But then it really went to another level when B-Day came out in 2007, and I was living out in California at the time, and just... that was the first Beyonce full-length album that I had.
Oh, I have...
my sister had the Writings on the Wall CD.
I am Dangerously in Love.
And I got Dangerously in Love later, girl, trust. Like, I did my... Like, I went back and got the 8 Days of Christmas album. Like,
and a diamond belly ring.
Like, every single bonus track, anything that has ever been released. I mean, maybe not so much like Girls' Time, necessarily.
Ooh, what's your favorite Beyonce deep cut?
Deep cut. That is a good question.
It could be like even like a feature, because my favorite like Beyonce deep cut is a feature. It was The Dream and Beyonce. I cannot remember the name of it right now, but it's like, people think I'm crazy, but I love you 'cause you crazy too. Ooh, ooh.
You're showing me up now. I'm not sure I recognize this song.
I'll play it.
How long ago was it from?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe like 2014. But 2 Chainz is in it too.
Oh, I must have heard this track.
Ratchet, sophisticated, ratchet.
Oh yes, okay. I recognize it now.
Ratchet. Oh my god, I love it.
I think that is the one that people thought that Azealia Banks was going to be on because she was saying that she had been recording a song called Ratchet with Beyonce.
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised, but she might have lied. So
yeah, who could trust anything she says?
Real.
So a deep cut. Worldwide Woman, If, off B-Day, the bonus tracks.
That is a good one.
Those are both. Oh, what about Welcome to Hollywood?
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
from
that's on B-Day too. On the bonus
version. Man,
Hollywood,
perfect individual. I think my Beyonce mood of the day today is probably. It was how I felt when I woke up this morning.
I woke up like this.
It's not flawless. It's mission 1, I'm going to put this on.
When they see me in a dress, I'm going to give me some hate. Yep, that was bopping.
Because my dress is really tight today, and I was feeling myself. So Get Me Bodied, I think, is it.
I ain't worried to me tonight. A little sweat ain't never hurt nobody. Why standing on the wall? I'm the one tonight. Get them body, get them body, get them body. Now, have you ever watched the Rich Man's Frug scene from
yes,
Sweet
Charity is one of my favorite musicals.
Is it? Oh my God, no way.
I love Bob Fosse.
But yeah, when you really see the references, it's the exact same. But I have no problem with that.
Yes, it's a very
because she
beautiful
did her
homage.
homework. It's an incredible homage.
I interviewed Jaquel Knight a couple months ago, and I talked to him because like the one thing that I've always wanted to say to Jaquel Knight was I love his appreciation of Bob Fosse, because it's evident in Single Ladies, because that's Mexican Breakfast, and there's got to be something better than this. And then Rich Man's Frug, I think he helped out a little bit with the Get Me Body video, and that's Rich Man's Frug. So I'm just like, thank you for loving Bob Fosse the way he needs to be appreciated and loved. And he was like, no one ever talks to me about Bob Fosse. This is awesome. I'm like, yes.
Bob Fosse is iconic, and I think a lot of people don't.
I love Sweet Charity. Yeah. Oh God,
he changed choreography, and he really changed dance.
The Mine Hair scene in Cabaret is one of my favorite movie scenes ever.
Amazing.
Oh, I love Bob Fosse.
I'm picturing
I could talk about Bob Fosse all day.
Oh my God, I didn't even. Well, but you,
I'm a theater girl.
You're a theater girl and a dance girl.
Yes,
you come from a dance background. You and I have never really talked about this, but even though I can't dance, for nothing, I love choreography. I love good dance. Obviously, it's one of the things I appreciate the most about Beyonce is that she gives you visuals and she gives you choreography and performance. The choreography. And she pulls references from everywhere. Like I think sometimes people try to give her shit that she is referencing, or they'll try to say like she's copying other people. Like but the fact of the matter is, first of all, everything is a remix. Everything is a amalgamation of influences that we take from around us and and bring them together in a new and interesting way. And so, yes, but she gives credit where it's due.
All the time.
She'll see something and be inspired by it and say, I want to do that. And sometimes she even like
brings it in. Like even when she did Run the World, she had those two guys, and she's like, I like what they do. I want them to do it with me. Like
because nobody could learn that pedestrian style.
And then like apparently she was like in the corner trying to learn it. She's like, she got it pretty well. But those guys, like she needed them to help.
They brought them, from the motherland. I'm picturing all of that.
And then they laughed and she cried because she loved her. her. She loved them
they
so
didn't
much.
want to go.
Oh my god. See, and that's another thing I appreciate about you. Like, that's what I love about, like, honestly, gay men are my favorite creatures because you guys, like, I feel like gay men and black women just have very similar likes and dislikes. Like, we're just very, obviously, like, we don't understand the same, we don't have the same struggles.
Experience
and experiences
where we come
living,
from, yeah.
but, like, the likes and the dislikes, a lot of them are
and
so
I would
similar.
never want to generalize, you know, they're within the gay and LGBT community and within the black community. Obviously, there are all sorts of different types of people with different interests and personalities. But I 100% agree with you. I have always been tremendously drawn to black women and black culture. I feel like, and I was noticing this in myself somewhat recently, it was really interesting to realize that the Disney movie Hercules came out when I was about 7 years old.
Those muses, man.
The muses, the gospel singing muses, but specifically the fact, well, first of all, Lilias White is the voice of Calliope, the lead muse, and I worship Lilias White. But one of the muses was, you know, the big girl,
Roz
the fat
Ryan.
girl. Yes. And, you know, even though she was, that character was the butt of some jokes, as you know, many fat characters are in things, there is a way in which fat black women, big women of color, are able to be in a role in our pop culture vernacular, and we allow them to be glamorous and fierce without being necessarily the butt of the joke, whereas most fat characters in scripted content are seen as lazy and stupid and slovenly and gross and, you know, always just played as funny. And so, you know, a few years later, coming into Dreamgirls, you know, for myself, gonna win. But yes, you know, seeing, you know, a person of size, you know, regardless of gender or race, seeing a person of size be incredibly talented has always been something that I've been tremendously drawn to. And I just think that for some reason, I think that black culture is maybe more accepting of people of different body sizes in general. And so that might be part of the reason why we see more images of people of size that are of, you know, of different skin tones. And, you know, I hope that some things are changing, and I'm going off on 5 different tangents right now. But suffice it to say, I love you. We do have a lot of things in common. We both love, obviously we love music and, you know, in the overlap between gay culture and black females, I definitely, there's a love.
There's so much.
There's a
that
love
we
of hair. There's a
do.
love of, you know, fabulous opulence, over the top glamour.
So much
And-
flash.
Yes, flash.
So much flash.
And flamboyance. And, you know, I feel like I'm trying so fucking hard to be politically correct and PC because I don't want to offend anybody that could ever listen to this. But girl, I love fabulous things. And so do you.
And so do I. And we're both Leos. Ain't that something?
Ain't it something?
So that was the Beyonce mood of the day.
What? That was all just the Beyonce mood of the
So
day.
listeners, remember, I've created a Spotify playlist for the Beyonce mood of the day. Search Beyonce mood of the day and follow it. I recently put the avatar for the And Friends podcast as the picture for that, so hopefully it's a little bit easier to find. And then you can also go in our Instagram page and click our link tree, and there is a direct link to the Beyonce Mood of the Day playlist. Each song mentioned by myself and my friends to start off the show have been and will be added to the playlist after each episode, so you can stay up to date on your Beyonce discography.
Yes.
So we're gonna get right into Talk of the Town. Obviously, Talk of the
Yes.
Town, gonna make it pride friendly.
Yes.
So Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live,
What?
who I've recently been told looks like a healthy crackhead, are engaged after 2 months. Maybe?
At most.
No, not even. Maybe not even.
I mean,
Maybe
I
a
remember
month.
she definitely announced No Tears Left to Cry came out on 420 or maybe on April 19th. And I was living the second that song came out. But she had not yet announced that she had broken up with Mac Miller. And that was less than 2 months ago.
Yes.
And I think it was at least a few weeks before
it had to have
anybody announced. I mean, it's possible that she was with Pete, earlier in April or something. But
I know
they have not been officially a couple for 2 months at this point.
Because I know on the last episode of Saturday Night Live, he was wearing like a Ariana Grande sweatshirt at the curtain call. And people on Twitter were pointing it out. They're like, "Oh, they're dating," and I'm like, "Oh, all right."
And
what
that
else
was
happened? The 19th of May.
On the last episode of SNL in the curtain call, A.D.
Bryant was dressed as that
barbecue Becky.
I saw that in the corner. I was like, look at her.
I didn't know what
I thought
the
it was
reference
really
was.
her at once.
You thought it was the real barbecue Becky?
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, look at her. She made it all the way to SNL, but I didn't know it was A.D. Bryant.
Yeah.
But they said that Pete
she also
Davidson
looked like Gene Simmons. It was a little confusing.
She did.
But I think barbecue Becky just looks like Gene Simmons.
Barbecue Becky. But Pete Davidson was wearing an Ariana Grande sweatshirt. And I was like, all right, whatever. But the internet is so fast, so they found out. And then I think within the next 2 weeks, they were all over social media. Like, her Instagram page has become like a shrine of Pete Davidson. It's cute. But it's just it's very fast.
It's pretty surprising. They're both so young.
24.
Are they both 24?
Yeah, he'll be 25, and I think October, and she'll be 25 tomorrow. If my memory serves me correctly.
Not too much of an age gap between them, but a very significant height gap.
Oh, yes.
Because he's about as tall as I am. He's like 6'4", 6'5".
And she's about as small as I am, like 5'1", 5'2". Maybe even smaller.
I find it somewhat impractical. Like, y'all cannot kiss each other standing up, right next to each other. And save the tall men for the tall women. But
love comes in all forms.
It does. It comes in all shapes and sizes. And obviously, I'm happy for them, and I hope that it works out. I'm so curious to see where it goes next. I was just reading yesterday about all of the tweets that she was liking and favoriting, talking about, her.
He spent $93,000 on her engagement ring.
That doesn't shock me.
Woo!
That's not. I mean, compared to the prices we've heard of for other rings,
that's wild.
That canary yellow diamond that was several $1 million. I
think it was
Kim Kardashian's rings, Beyonce's ring,
a teardrop shaped ring. It took. I read this. I don't remember where I read. It might have been on BET's website, but it said it was a teardrop ring. It took him 2 weeks to make it, the ring, and he ordered it a month ago. So it's I guess he just was like, I'm gonna marry this girl.
Wow.
Very, very sudden.
Definitely. Trying to lock it down.
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope, God forbid, that he is, doing this for any kind of attention or publicity.
He doesn't seem like the type. He just looks like he wants to smoke his weed.
He's an actor and a comedian. He does want to smoke his weed.
thing.
Well, we will see. We'll be watching that ongoing saga as it progresses. I love Ariana Grande so much. I was blasting No Tears Left to Cry nonstop for several weeks. It is such a bop. I'm not sure if it's still in the top 10 on Billboard. It better be, because it deserves to make it too.
It's really catchy.
I love that song.
I thought the video was a little strange,
I love that video. And that's I feel like I connect to songs more immediately if they drop the song and the video at the same time. But even because I'm so visually drawn when it comes to music, visually and lyrically, and that video was really, really compelling and interesting to me. The ground being swept up from under you and you can't find the floor anymore. That's kind of the metaphor that I got the sense that they were going for, that the world is spinning all around you and you can't find your footing. And I thought that it was beautifully done and beautifully directed by Dave Meyers.
Dave Meyers always does a good job.
I watched that video 100 times. I wish I was exaggerating, because I really don't think that I am. But I'm so excited about the Sweetener album, everything that she's trying to do with, overcoming a really, really tragic situation that she experienced last year. And just trying to bring beauty and light into the world. The light is coming. We've got new singles from her and Nicki Minaj coming, a new single from her and Troye Sivan coming.
I'm excited for that Nicki Minaj song, because I like when they're together.
I mean, Side to Side is a bop. Bang Bang is a bop. Yeah.
I saw a tweet. It was like Jessie J waiting for Nicki and Ariana to call. And it was a picture of New York on the
Not
bed.
gonna happen.
Poor Jessie J. Jessie J is a singer.
She can sing. She's incredible.
Really wish that they would get together again.
You know, on another podcast, on What's the Tea, Michelle Visage and
tell me what's the tea.
Exactly. Although they don't use that as their
Not
opening.
anymore?
No, they haven't for a long time.
I haven't heard it recently.
Yeah. But Michelle Visage went in and had no problem. You know, sometimes they don't want to spread too much negative gossip about somebody. But Michelle Visage went in on Jessie J because Jessie J, you know, at the last minute asked if she could perform at a drag event that was happening in a gay bar because she had a big concert the next day and they were trying to sell more tickets. So they just wanted a last minute promotional opportunity. And she goes into a lot of detail about this. I really wish I could tell you the episode off the top of my head, but that Jessie J was incredibly rude to everybody. She was late. She wouldn't talk to anybody. She wouldn't take pictures with anybody. And
That's so disheartening to hear.
and I feel like that. I just, you know, obviously you hear, but this was from Michelle experiencing it firsthand. I believe it, you know, and there are definitely reasons why Jessie J's career hasn't maintained
taken off
and
as well as it could,
because she really is phenomenally talented as a vocalist. And you know, at the very beginning, Price Tag, you know, some of her first singles were so
Do
fantastic.
It like a dude.
Yes, or Domino. I love that song.
Ooh, Mama Knows Best is really.
I'm not sure I know that.
Mama
one.
knows best when times get hard.
Tell him, Jana.
Oh my God, I love that song. Jessie J can really blow. That's really sad to hear.
Yeah.
That's really disheartening.
You know, they might have just caught her in a bad moment, obvious, and that's the thing that happens when you're, you know, famous and all eyes are on you at any given time is like one rude moment with somebody that'll stick with them for the rest of their life, and they're going to tell everybody that they know, you know, oh, I just ran into so and so and she was rude. And it's unfair that, you know, that everybody's entitled to their opinion and they get one small snippet of you, and it's a lot of pressure to maintain and to be nice to everybody all the time and keep that smile, but also seem genuine. You know, it's a really fine, it's nothing I would ever want in my lifetime. But, you know, that's a real risk that you take anytime you are,
Putting
you know,
yourself out there.
yeah, that, you know, people can talk.
Being famous is a drag.
It's such a drag.
But speaking of drag,
it's
the next
Pride
topic
Month.
is about, obviously, Drag Race. This is
RuPaul
another
Drag Race.
hallmark
Let it
of
rest
our friendship.
away.
Me and Zach love RuPaul's Drag Race. We get together and watch it all the time.
Yes.
I've been watching Drag Race since season 2. When did you start watching it?
I found season 2 and 3 on Netflix after they had both finished airing before season 4 had started. So I don't even know what year that was anymore. But so I watched.
I'm thinking maybe 2009. No, maybe not, because season 4 was 2013.
Was it really?
Yeah, because I remember watching it in my dorm room on my computer because I didn't want my roommate to see me watching Drag Race.
Oh my God. No shame, girl. No shame.
Oh, now
in
there's
your
no
game.
shame at all because everyone watches it. I
All
remember.
pride.
Yeah, it was like I was at my dad's house and it was on a marathon. I'm like, might as well. And my dad walks in. I think he was at the store. He's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Drag Race." He's like, "Okay." And I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
stop. I just can't stop.
My
It's
parents,
so good.
I think I tried to make my parents watch an episode once or twice. They
My
did
mom
not
used
get
to watch
at
it
all.
with me. She was like, "Wow, they're amazing."
They
I'm
do
like,
not
I
get it.
know. It's so good.
It's the best. It's my favorite thing.
It's so,
you know,
so it's not like on
right
like,
beneath Beyonce.
like
it's
when people
Beyonce
use
and then Drag
oh
Race
my
for me.
entire like explore page on Instagram is Beyonce and RuPaul's Drag Race.
We are twins. We are.
That is all
sisters.
that pops up.
Yeah.
And then like natural hair videos. That's about it. But we have to talk about the last episode.
It was the Evil Twins.
The Evil Twins. Did you hear that there was like a backlash at when RuPaul said like your bipolar realness or whatever?
I didn't
RuPaul
hear
said.
anything about that, but people love to get offended about every single fucking thing these days.
So-
You know, everything is a controversy in the making. If there's a lack of good news stories, you know, people will drum up controversy and find a way.
Yeah, there were people
you know,
who were really like
and
they
I
got
mean,
upset
this
about
isn't
that
the first time that he's-
crack. Yeah, because they did she-mail and people complained now there's no more she-mail.
She-mail and tranny. There was a lot of things. I mean, his comments a few years ago about not having trans women who had already transitioned on the show are questionable, and I think he's backtracked them in the time since. But yeah, people love to get their panties all up in a twist about everything.
To knot those panties. But the last episode was about the evil twins. So they had to have their real self, and then they had their evil twin, which is like a complete antithesis of who they actually are. But it was more like taking their demons or the bad things about themselves and personifying them, which I thought was really
the good
cool.
elements of themselves and the bad elements, which all of the queens kind of discussed in their preparation, how they would incorporate those negative aspects of their real self into the evil character. I don't know if I saw that much of it from really any of them.
I don't think I did either. I think people are just like, this is ugly. And it's like me.
It's dark.
I'm like, all right, whatever.
Evil. And
like, they talked about it way more than they actually did.
Yeah.
So
and then,
kind of
all of the evil twins were just, throwing shade at themselves.
But let me tell you, Asia really did go in on herself. She was really, really, really mean to herself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what they wanted.
Definitely. I remember gagging. I wish I could remember exactly what it was.
She said something like, "You take your like musty ass, stank booty, dry ass weave." I'm like, "Ooh, girl!" Like she went in.
She went in.
But who was your favorite last week and why?
Now, I have a very special soft spot in my heart, which is inside my big soft body, for Eureka O'Hara. We are the same height, weight, and age, me and Miss Eureka O'Hara, and big girls. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about, I am trying my hardest to be an advocate for body positivity, for, body diversity, F your beauty standards, beautiful at any size, all these fucking hashtags and all that shit, which, my Insta, I guess, is a combination of Beyonce, Drag Race, and body positivity. And big curvaceous people of all persuasions. So I'm a sucker for a big girl in general, both biological and psychological. Are you going through a psychological change in your life? Have you watched Pose yet? Have we talked about this?
I love Pose.
Yeah.
I just watched the episode last night because when shows are on Sundays, I tend to forget about them. I don't know why. But so I watched it yesterday, the last episode. Really, I just love it. I just love it. I love
it's doing a great job.
I feel like Ryan Murphy really does a good job of that.
Definitely.
He really does. Most people I know a lot of people who are not crazy about the stuff that Ryan Murphy does, but I've always thought he did a really good job at representing underrepresented people.
Right. And talking about representation, like this show is primarily trans people of color. I'm having a little bit of a hard time loving Elektra, who is kind of the center point of the show. Obviously, she's a diva. She's incredibly glamorous. She's gorgeous. But something about the character doesn't feel fully realized to me yet. It doesn't feel like she has sunk in to who she is. And I'm kind of betting as I'm saying this, we haven't really gotten a lot of backstory on that character
Not really yet. I'm hoping
we
that later in the show.
We haven't seen a vulnerable moment from her.
I hope later in the show they get a little bit more into her character.
I'm sure that they will.
Because she's very, she's got a hard edge.
Yes.
And I know that she has something in her that we need to find out more about.
But she has had some incredible one-liners already. That show is so exciting. So that'll be my summer.
Tens across the board.
Yes.
Oh, so Paris is burning.
So Paris is burning. I mean, the first episode
Paris
was full of literal Paris is burning lines.
Absolutely.
You own everything and category. But I mean, it all goes back to ballroom scene. That's what they are recreating.
Yep, and I love it's done in a very. It's so good.
It's really,
I love
really
it.
well done.
Shout out to Ryan Murphy. I think my favorite queen left is Asia because I feel like she's just that sassy Texan that I love.
Yes, and there's a lot that I do love about Asia, but I will never forgive that Beyonce and Snatch
that was
game.
terrible. That was absolutely terrible. The Cher was a little better, but not great.
I'm almost questioning if it was worse than Kenya Michaels' Beyonce and Snatch game. Kenya
Michaels.
So funny because it was Kenya Michaels' Beyonce was narcoleptic and gassy, and twitchy, and just doing the single ladies dance.
It's so funny because it was the complete opposite. Asia's was just mean.
Just mean. Telling Blue Ivy to shut up, she would never.
Hush your mouth, girl.
She would never.
Blue Ivy would tell Beyonce to shut
Seriously.
up. Seriously. She would do that. She would put her hand out no. We don't.
Too much clapping.
That. No, we only stare Normani in this house. No Camila. But back when a couple episodes ago, I really did like Blair St. Clair. I thought she was she always killed it.
Yeah.
in the face. That mug was beat for Zeus.
Definitely.
But she was... I like that she got to show that vulnerability before she got kicked off the show. I'm really glad that they did that.
Yes. I love Monet X Change.
She grew on me.
And
I will never forgive that damn... She was trying so hard to justify that sponge.
Oh, I love the sponge.
No
That's become her
sponge.
brand.
If you saw that music video when we went to that club last week, and she was wearing the sponge outfit.
Yeah, no, the music video is all about the sponge.
All
Soak
about
it
the
up.
sponges.
That's her brand. I think it's hysterical. I'm here for Monet and all of her sponges. I'm here for Dusty Ray Bottoms.
Dusty Ray Bottoms, I really did.
Yes,
like.
I've known her for several years. I went to college with her fiance, Mark Singer, and I'm so happy for their success. And so, obviously I have to root for the two of them. I love Miss Cracker.
I did like Miss Cracker too.
And, definitely sad to see her go last week.
I think she just needed to just drop that guard. She was so guarded all the time. And at first I thought she was going to, because she was always so funny and quick with her one-liners. And then it's sort of like, it disappeared. She got so guarded because she got so in her head. She reminded me of Thorgy Thor. Because Thorgy used to do the same thing. You were like, oh, I'm rooting for Thorgy, but then Thorgy would be like, no, stupid Thorgy, like beating herself in the head. I'm like,
saboteur.
bitch, stop it. Just stop.
Yes.
What was your favorite season of Drag Race and why?
It's got to be 5.
Okay, I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, season 5, there was, come on.
Yeah, Jinx and Rolaska Talks and Alyssa Edwards and Coco Montrese.
Alyssa Edwards, my favorite. I love Alyssa Edwards.
Yes.
I feel like if I were a queen, Alyssa Edwards would be me.
I would want to be Latrice Royale.
Oh, Latrice Royale. My 3 favorite queens of all time from that show. Alyssa is always first because she is so extra and I love it. And she's a fabulous dancer. I'm telling you, Alyssa Edwards is the best performer they ever had on Drag Race. And you can find me on it.
Bitch can't sing.
She can't sing, but that girl could perform.
Yeah.
Alyssa Edwards has been involved in 2 Lip Sync for Your Lives or Lip Sync for Your Legacies and has stayed in the competition. She's been in 2 double stays.
And that Shut Up and Drive was iconic.
Shut Up and Drive and Whip My Hair. Whew.
Oh, the Whip My Hair with Roxy Andrews. I forgot that was against Alyssa.
That was a bad toll. Oh my God.
They both stayed?
They both stayed. And then they both stayed for Shut Up and Drive, too.
Oh my God. And then
Alyssa
Roxy
Edwards
cried
is an
about
iconic
the bus stop.
queen. The bus stop.
Oh, Roxy. And speaking of Roxy, it does remind me, it is Pride Month, but today's also June 12th, which is the 2-year anniversary of Pulse Orlando. That's the 2-year anniversary of
Pulse. So we're going to dedicate this episode to the victims of Pulse and their families. It's still shitty.
I will never forget.
It's still ridiculous that we still don't have stronger gun control laws.
When that story was breaking and how unbelievable it was, and seeing the text messages that a boy sent to his mother from the bathroom. Such an unbelievable tragedy. And, sorry to bring it down for a second. It's totally fine,
but it's so sad that we still don't have stricter gun control laws. Like, this shit is still happening.
Yeah.
It happened in Florida. It happened in Texas. It happened in the Bronx. We're not going to get into that, but it happened in the Bronx. We gotta tighten that up because it's really shitty.
I can't even begin to get into, what needs to happen I'm suddenly all tongue tied, but yes, it's
just absolutely
it's
shitty.
Such a problem. It's such a disaster in our country, and God, I hope that things can change. I'll certainly be out there voting, in our primaries and midterms
November 6th.
Yes.
Get ready.
And I really do believe that we can make a really significant impact and turn the tides if we can get more blue in there.
Come on, blue.
Oh,
we need the blue.
Yes. Oh me, oh my.
Last question about Drag Race.
Yeah. Oh yes. Let's bring it back to the lighter side of things.
Alyssa Edwards forever. Roxy Andrews was a good performer though too. Like she is a very good performer.
And she has some great looks.
She is a beautiful
gorgeous
queen.
Yeah.
But she was not great though during
she can't do comedy. All Stars 2.
Ooh, girl. Tasha Salad.
Yes, she brought back her Tasha Salad. But Oh my God, her Read You, Wrote You verse. I love all the YouTube videos where they replace Roxy's verse with just everything else. Just
My favorite verse in Read You, Wrote You was definitely Detox's. Oh, girl.
D to the E to the O to the...
Hold it.
X.
So good. Who do you think is going to win Drag Race this season?
My heart says Eureka. I feel like Rue has a soft spot for Eureka as well.
I think they're going to give it to
We would love
Eureka.
a big girl to win. You know, there have been so many incredible big girls in Drag Race history, but we really don't have a winner who was a queen of size whatsoever. And shit ain't easy. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize how much extra work goes into creating garments, finding shoes, creating your padding and your shape when you are a bigger person, and, you know, avoiding sweating, keeping your wig on. Like, I have dabbled, you know, I have dipped a toe into the world of drag and realized
Little
it's
light touch.
I mean, I always respected the art form and realized how difficult it is. But, you know, to be a big girl and to be constantly polished the way, and Latrice Royale, you know, similarly.
The quotable queen.
Yes. Latrice really does have so many good
The
lines.
best quotes.
So my heart says Eureka. I would be very okay if it was Aquaria, because Aquaria has totally grown on me as the season has gone on.
She has turned
She's
out
got
so many
surprising
good
comedy
looks.
chops,
She's
amazing
gotten
looks.
better at comedy.
But her Melania Trump was surprisingly on point. Even in the little breast world, you know,
Oh, yeah, that was
scene,
good.
she had like 4 lines, and
she was
somehow
really good
she
at
just
it.
sold them and was funny. And I was taken aback in that one little scene. Like, oh my gosh,
Would she be the youngest winner if she won? Because she's like 21.
Violet Chachki was pretty young, but she might not have been that young.
I think Violet might have been 21 though, at the time.
We should look it up. Yeah.
Let's Google it.
Oh, we don't have to look it up right this second. But Aquaria would certainly be one of, if not the youngest winner. It's crazy that she's so young.
I think it's going to be between those two.
I mean, Cameron Michaels
Oh,
is so
girl.
lucky to have made it this
She
far.
made it very
Cameron, you know,
far.
she has grown over the course of the season and showed what she is made of. I know that this episode that's airing later this week, you know, is a singing and dancing challenge. Eureka struggles with
That's
dancing.
going to be difficult for Eureka.
Yes. But, and, you know, Cameron, I guess, has a pretty decent singing voice. He wound up winning the Share Challenge.
Keeps doing those damn splits.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Aquaria can't sing, really.
And I think
can't
Aquaria had she was really not great
With
in that
choreography
one
either.
choreography challenge
Yeah.
either. She hit a split.
Yeah.
I think Asia did decent.
No, in the Share Challenge,
Not
Asia
the-
was the
no,
snap
in
out of it.
when they were like older women.
Oh,
Was that? Oh well,
Did that
Aquaria was an
involve?
old woman. I have to watch that episode again.
yeah.
But
I think the only singing that they did this season was the Share one.
challenge. Yeah, she wasn't great at that, but I
Yeah.
think she was decent at dancing, from what I remember from a lip sync.
We will see.
We'll see. So that was the end of Talk of the Town. We're gonna get right into the questions with the guest.
Are we doing okay on time? Are we
Yeah,
talking too much?
we got
Okay,
an hour
good.
or so left.
Are you bored, listeners? Are you
I
following us?
apologize
I mean,
greatly.
you know, obviously your listener base varies a lot. From I think you talk an awful lot about hip hop and R&B.
Yeah, so like if you're still here, congratulations, because like I
if
like
you don't know anything about Drag Race and drag queens,
Hey, I mean,
tune back in now, because now that topic is over.
But we're gonna talk a little bit about like your experience, you know.
Oh my gosh,
Hey, man.
me?
Yes. So, how old were you when you realized that you were gay?
15. I was a late bloomer in a lot of ways, but I did not understand or really think about my own sexuality until that age. And it was all kind of in my recollection, it was one big moment where I realized, not to get, you know, too TMI deep personal.
Vaginas are gross.
Well, yeah, that's not where I was going at all. But that I realized what being aroused was, you know, that I realized, you know, what masturbation was and what I was attracted to all happened at once. Yeah. And that was definitely a very eye-opening, you know, pivotal moment for me that I go back to a lot, because this is a question that a lot of people ask. And yeah, so I was 15. I came out. I went to a boarding school in California for my senior year of high school, right before I turned 18. So
Why
I was
was
about
that?
17. Oh, girl, it is a story. Have I not told you any of this?
Never
part of my life?
told this
Oh my
before.
God. It might be a little bit too, but I will tell.
We've said enough on this show. Like I've talked about periods.
Right.
We've talked about all sorts of
Oh,
stuff.
but I just might not want to put my whole life's business.
Oh, you can do
on
like
the internet.
a TLDR.
Yes.
Too long didn't read. Like
It was. I'm really debating about how much of this I want to share.
don't
but
incriminate
it was,
yourself.
Oh, that too. I will tell you the full story afterwards. But this was a boarding school in California that I, wound up at because I had left another school that it was a performing arts boarding school in Massachusetts. My parents had moved into the city of Baltimore at the time, and so going to public school in that moment wasn't the best option. And this was, and it was a crazy experience. I have been told I should write a book about it. I have considered it, but I'm way too lazy. I just, how could I ever write a book without somebody holding me accountable? But so I'm in California, and it was June 25th. Wow, so almost exactly 11 years ago that I would have come out. The first person I told that I was gay was the girl that I met at the airport on the way to go to this boarding school. And then as soon as I got there, I was out to everybody. So I was starting a new chapter of my life, all new people, and that's who I was. A somewhat unfortunate thing happened a few months later where my counselor, guidance counselor at the school didn't know that my parents didn't know that I was gay. So he unintentionally outed me to them. Yeah, and that was unfortunate. But luckily my parents are, New England liberal intellectuals and were very accepting. My mother has a gay brother. And there were some growing pains for me, getting comfortable discussing those topics with them. And, I wasn't quite ready. But it all worked out in the end. And I recognize how lucky I am. And I'm so, so grateful for my family and to be in the position that I'm in, that I have mostly felt accepted. Surprisingly, growing up, I was teased an awful lot more about being fat than ever about being gay or effeminate.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself being teased a lot as a kid?
No, nobody ever called me like faggot or, sissy or mate. Yeah, I was so self-conscious about my size from a young age. And, I probably have some repressed memories of being teased as a child, but I don't have a ton of, clear memories of being teased and bullied as a kid. I think I kept to myself an awful lot of the time. I dealt with my own, demons and battles with depression and just hated myself. Frankly, I really hated myself when I was a kid. And that was hard. And so thank God, thank Beyonce and RuPaul.
Thank Beyonce. I always say thank you, Michael and Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney.
They're my favorites to pray
Whitney.
to. My favorite deities. And Prince as well.
But that I made it through those difficult times, and I'm learning to love myself more and more every day. It is the root and the foundation of everything. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else?
Can I get an amen up in here?
Amen. Yes.
Amen.
So I made it through the wilderness. Somehow I made it through Madonna. I
love
went
it.
there.
I love it.
But, and I'm so, so proud to be a gay man. I am so, out and loud and proud. And I've often questioned, I, in some ways, am very stereotypical of what people expect a gay man to be. I'm beyond obsessed with musical theater. I love glitter and
I feel like I am a gay man as well.
I think a lot of
the same.
I think there's a lot of straight women that feel that way and that are very drawn to gay culture. But I don't know why I love the things I do. I certainly didn't choose, to be passionate about the things that I am. I think it's fascinating that sexuality should have any kind of correlation and association with certain interests or behavior types or passions, but
Yeah,
it does,
and
it works
it's-
for me.
it's
And I know that
crazy.
there's a lot of people that don't, connect as closely with mainstream gay culture, quote unquote. And obviously, being a bigger person, there are issues of size discrimination and all these little twink and fairy queens up in the gay bars,
Did you see
not
that
wanting
picture? I think it was, I don't know. It might have been Vulture. They did a story about like, oh, we talked to X amount of twinks, and they're literally all like white blonde twinks.
That too. Oh my God.
I'm like, this is not representation.
Racism is such a disturbing and upsetting issue within the gay community still, and it's an ongoing discussion of, are people allowed to have preferences, racial preferences for who they're attracted to? I can't answer that categorically for myself. I have dated men of every color and creed. The most
Retweet.
serious relationship I was ever in was with a guy who was half Nigerian and half British by way of New Zealand.
Whoa,
That
that's
was-
okay.
He was very worldly, and that was a long time ago. That was a lifetime ago.
But that was long ago.
But it's upsetting, when you and I went to Hardware the other day to watch Drag Race, there was a lack of diversity.
There was
that
a
room.
lot of very.
There was a lot of
the
thin white men.
Yes, and they all had like either brown or blonde hair.
Yeah.
I didn't see any chocolate queens up in there.
And I think in the bear and chub community, of which I,
now,
am a-
what is a chub the same as a bear?
Oh, this is a whole thing, girl. This is a whole thing.
I know what a bear is, but what is a
Right.
chub?
So I guess the chub identity has more to do with not necessarily being as hairy, I think is one
Okay.
of the number one things. And that's kind of, a realm that I've had to deal with is like, I would love to identify as a bear in a certain way, but I cannot grow a big full beard the way I would love to. I am somewhat hairy, but I don't feel like a full-fledged bear. So maybe I'm a cub, but I'm also very tall and very
There's
big.
so many
Oh, there are
things.
so many. You have no idea.
Wow.
And polar bears are older bears.
Oh.
And so yeah.
Okay. I think the only thing I didn't really know
And there's
was,
otters, which are,
Okay, I didn't know that either.
yes, thinner, hairy guys.
Wow.
And so with the chub dynamic, it's kind of usually in tandem with the chub chaser dynamic. And they like to live pretty underground for fear of, the lack of understanding of the larger culture. But some bigger guys really do not want to identify with that community because they don't want to be objectified or fetishized for their size, which I've had to come to terms with about that as well. So yeah, it's all just words and labels and names,
Wow.
but it's a beautiful thing. I'm very involved in an organization called Big Gay Men of New York, BGMO, and we're planning a huge event at the end of the summer called Convergence that I can't believe I'm talking about right now. But I'm proud to be I'm a big old boy, and I'm not about to change that anytime soon. So I'm trying to love myself every inch, every pound, and yeah, I'm proud to be my size. I'm trying to be proud of everything that makes me me, and I hope that all of your listeners are too. I definitely recommend. There's an Instagram called the Everyman Project that's been doing a lot of photo shoots lately. The founder was recently featured on Logo 30. And he's, a man of size and a person of color. And these photo shoots are just promoting beauty of all body types. And so, yeah, it's different being a gay man when you are bigger and feeling like in some bars nobody will look at me, nobody wants to make eye contact, which is so annoying that people don't want to make eye contact with you if they're not trying to hook up with you. And it's like, can't we just
you
be
can
fucking
even
friends?
have that like as a straight black woman.
Yeah, I believe it.
Because people fetishize that too.
I believe it.
Disgusting.
But I over the years have gotten more comfortable breaking down those walls and starting up a conversation with a stranger of any, age or race or whoever they are, and becoming friends. Like, can't we just be fucking friends? So gay bars can
We can be
sometimes
fucking
be
friends,
a hostile.
not fucking friends.
Ah, she's so good. She's bringing the humor
Clever
back
as
in.
hell. So, was your family atmosphere like strict growing up, or you were very like able to be yourself?
Oh my goodness. My family atmosphere. My father is a psychiatrist. He's a very prominent psychiatrist. And so I hope that this podcast never makes its way to anyone who knows him professionally. I mean, I'm probably going to share this with my parents, TBH. I'm very, very close with my parents, especially my mother. And I have one older sister. I grew up in Boston, in the suburbs. And, you know, my parents are, like I said, very liberal, intellectual, you know, incredibly smart people. I feel really, really lucky and blessed to have the family that I do. And I don't think that they were terribly strict. I don't remember there being much of a limit on how much television I could watch. So to a certain extent, I feel like I was fucking raised by TV because I just watched everything. You know, learned and was exposed to so much from such a young age, you know, watching South Park from the time I was in second, third grade. So much TV. But you know, my parents both really love television too, and my father has a huge DVD collection. My mother, you know, we were a TV family, so we watched a lot of TV. You know, we love music as well. My father raised me on the Beatles and Frank Sinatra. You know, my mother had her record player and records. My mother was a singer, and she was in several bands when she was younger. So it was, you know, all things considered, I guess sometimes it felt slightly dysfunctional inside of it. But compared to what I've seen of so many other people's family dynamics, my family, you know,
looked pretty normal.
Really, really,
really
normal. And, you know, my parents have been together for math, 37 years now, 1981. Beautiful. And yeah. I didn't even realize it was that many years. We're going on a big family vacation in less than 2 weeks now. My sister and her husband have a 1-year-old baby, and I'm very, very blessed.
That's good because like a lot of people, like when, if they're part of the LGBTQ community and they talk about their family atmosphere, it's like anything that was remotely feminine was like,
you know, my mother was definitely uncomfortable with the idea of my doing drag. I was in a play when I was in college that my sister was producing. It was Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella.
Yes.
And I played the fairy godmother.
Impossible
for a plain yellow focus to become
I'm telling
a golden
you, like,
carriage.
I thought that Whitney Houston was like a queen because I didn't like. I mean, I was
my God, I love that
costume. I had to be maybe like 5 when that came out. So when I saw Brandy and I saw Whitney Houston, and like Brandy was like my first princess in a way. The first princess that like I felt represented by. Because like I didn't have, like Disney didn't have, we didn't have Tiana yet. So like my mom would buy me like Jasmine things and she would buy me Esmeralda things. But like that was like a princess. I'm like, oh my God. Brandy is a princess. Like I thought Moesha was like the coolest.
I was, that movie was hugely influential for me in different ways.
So important.
Absolutely, it solidified some of my love for musical theater and for, you know, Rob Marshall directed that movie. It was an ABC World of Disney movie.
We had it
he went on to
off
do
the
Chicago.
television.
Oh my God, we did too.
I have the commercials still on the computer.
I probably do have the VHS tape of it. I wound up getting the DVD years later, and they never released a cast album for that Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella.
Didn't.
I have it ripped. Yeah, I can give it to you. I have those MP3 files. I would enjoy
that very much.
Oh my gosh, because those songs. Oh my God. You know her version of "In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be." Did you know they had to change some of those lyrics because it's "I'm a slave in Calcutta."
Okay, we can't do that.
Yeah, no. Brandy's gonna say she's a thief in Calcutta.
Yeah, Brandy's not allowed to say that. We no slave.
No slave. These are not slave days. I love it when RuPaul says that. These are not slave days.
I also really enjoyed how in Cinderella, like the cast was just so diverse.
And that was, colorblind casting.
I love it.
People were not doing that really to that extent. That was like 1997 that movie came out.
Like Victor Garber and Whoopi Goldberg had
Paolo Montalban. They
that's
have a Filipino son.
It's beautiful.
Amazing.
Absolutely
amazing.
Excellent.
And I'm proud to be raised in that generation. That I really think that had an influence on our generation. And now we see more colorblind casting. Probably not often enough, but occasionally where, it allows kids to see the world in a different way.
Yeah. Like, I love when people are like, I think it happened maybe last Christmas when someone like freaked the fuck out because like the Santa Claus was black, and then like everyone else was just like, Santa Claus is not real. He can be whatever color. It's wild. It's absolutely wild.
People are wild. Some people are incredibly ignorant and closed-minded.
It's very sad.
We pay them bitches no mind.
Leave them at the door. We don't need that negative energy.
But yes, that Brandy Whitney Cinderella is my life.
Very important to me.
So I was in drag in that show, and my mother came to accept it. My gay uncle actually, came down into the city and saw that. I feel like when it comes to performance, that show might be the height of my performance career. Possibly, I still sometimes think about trying to sing at a cabaret or an open mic here or there. Anyway, so, one of the first things my mother told me on the phone when she found out was, I just don't want you to get AIDS. And it's unfortunate, but I understand where she was coming from in hindsight.
Yeah.
You hear that a lot. But compared to what a lot of LGBT youth go through in finding acceptance with their family.
Sometimes they get thrown out of their house.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that happens on Pose, and that happens all the time. My best friend in the entire world, Robert Lopez, besides you, Jaina.
Besides me, okay.
But he works for an organization called AVP, the New York City Anti-Violence Project, that I'm proud to rep right now. And I've gone and done the New York City Pride Parade with them for the last several years. And they work with the LGBT community with an emphasis on the T, emphasis on trans individuals, working to, prevent violence against them, but also provide housing and economic opportunities and all sorts of counseling, couples counseling. It's an incredible organization. And they also, deal a lot with homeless LGBT youth and finding housing and support for youth. And it is such a tragedy that any parent in this day and age could think that their child, is wrong or sinful or broken because of their sexuality. We thank God, obviously we have a long way to go, but in the Western world, we are starting to accept people don't choose their sexuality or their gender identity. And we are all beautiful creatures, and we all deserve to be loved and accepted.
Yeah, like no matter what you do, like I'll never understand like how people let other people's choices in life and how they like want to live their life affect them.
Like this does not affect you in any which
like
way.
The sun is gonna still rise in the sun, and the like
who I choose to love or how I choose to dress or what I choose to do does not affect you, the theoretical you,
exactly.
Mr.
It reminds me of that quote
so-and-so.
from, I think it was Bob's Burgers. It's like, I put my boob in one bra cup at a time. My bra in one boob at a time, just like everyone else. Like, it doesn't matter. Stupid shit. So stupid.
So stupid.
So when you were officially out, did that change your demeanor at all? Were you like more outgoing, or you were just like more of the same?
I don't remember. I feel there, I've always been a mercurial, moody creature, and I've from a young age, I've experienced tremendous joy, and I think my natural set state is a very sunny, bubbly, effervescent personality. That feels like who I'm supposed to be, and that it did come out some when I was a kid as well. I mean, it's been so long now that I've just been, what one thing that took some years of figuring out was just, you know, who I am in general. But like, you know, when it comes to being gay, my gay identity, like, you know, I felt like I needed to push it all the way to the edge with the glitter and the makeup and the nails and, you know, the effeminate nature and the flamboyance to find out where I naturally fit. And there's a time and a place for those things, and I still enjoy all of those things. I still paint my nails occasionally. I love to play with makeup and all that, you know, that faggotry nonsense. But I, you know, just who I naturally am is somewhere in the middle, you know, where I'm comfortable. Yeah, because I definitely like to be comfortable. That's the thing.
I love being comfortable.
I'd love to be a little bit more fashionable and wear a little bit more, you know, crazy things. But when you're big, it's definitely harder. And,
hey,
you know,
I'm a sweater, so even as a little lady, I'm like, where are my shorts?
But you know, I'm working a professional business fish job these days.
Giving you
I am a professional.
Business realness.
Yes, executive realness.
Executive realness.
Yes.
Category is.
So, you know, I have to dress a little bit more. Like, I wish I could just wear cargo shorts every day. I was specifically scolded last week that I need to dress a little bit more.
Really? It was like Casual Friday.
I know, right? But I guess I was a little too casual.
I feel like sometimes I'm way too casual. Sometimes I actually like wear the pants.
You guys can get away with it a little bit more
wear
than
the
we
pants
can.
that I sleep in.
Yeah.
Right to the office. I'm like, you know what? I'm comfortable in these pants.
Right.
I'm gonna keep them on. I shouldn't be doing that. It's kind of gross and dirty, but like, that's me. I'm a little rough around the edges.
Yes, just do you. Do what feels right.
What is some of the even though the world's getting a little bit more accepting.
Yes.
And there's still a lot of shitty people in it.
Oh
so what are some of the other challenges that you've had to face in your adult life as a gay man?
You know, I've been very lucky and very sheltered. I moved to New York City when I was 19, just about 10 years ago now. I went to Fordham at Lincoln Center, you know, right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, and I have lived in Hell's Kitchen for almost 10 years now and watched Hell's Kitchen become the, you know, bustling gayborhood that it is today. Though Hell's Kitchen, the gay nightlife scene in Hell's Kitchen does have issues with racism and trans acceptance as well. I was just speaking on Facebook with somebody the other day that let me know that violence against trans women is still happening in some of the gay bars in Midtown.
Some of the most disrespected women.
It's really
honestly so disrespected.
It's such a you know, intractable issue to try and fight the stigma on every level. You know, the small microaggressions to the larger aggressions, you know, having everybody be respectful of pronouns. It's, you know, it's an ongoing process. I just saw a play off Broadway the other day called Log Cabin at Playwrights Horizons with Jesse Tyler Ferguson. And one of the main topics in that play was a lot about gender politics and, you know, the breakdown of the binary and people's preferred gender pronouns and accepting somebody while they're going through a transition. I'm fortunate enough to have many friends, you know, that have transitioned over the years while I've known them or before I knew them. But to get back to your question, I feel like I have not experienced that. And I wish I could think of situations or stories where I felt discriminated against as an LGBT person. At the end of the day, I am a white man. I accept that privilege. I'm also a very tall, very big white man. And so I think, you know, people, if you don't hear me speak and I'm walking down the street and I'm not like singing and dancing to myself, I might be slightly intimidating, possibly. And so, you know, these people better know not to fuck with me. Don't fuck with me, yeah. You better watch out.
That sounds good.
Yeah. What you know about me? I can curb stomp. You don't even know. You don't want to try me. Sometimes if I'm ever going through a bad neighborhood and I'm really nervous in the middle of the night,
just like,
I'll just put on this like tough guy like, ooh, I dare you. I dare you to step to me right now.
And then you just
and
start
people
singing
leave
show
me alone. And then as soon as I'm out of it, I'll start singing. Yes. Hello, Dolly. Why was that what came into my head? So I have been very fortunate that I have, stayed in the Northeast and, spent almost all of the last 10 years in New York and specifically in Midtown Manhattan. I work in the entertainment industry. I worked in the Broadway industry for several years, which is pretty much the gayest industry there is, Broadway and fashion, and now I work at Billboard and within the music industry. There, are going to be mostly a lot of progressive, very like-minded people. Billboard has a huge pride sector that we were just discussing
so
earlier.
Many gays at Billboard.
But
so many
actually,
gays. I love it, though.
There's there could be more.
There might be more.
Compared to the offices that I have been in Broadway, it feels like, at least within the people that I'm interacting with within our office, like there's not a ton. But I
feel like there's a lot to be explored.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
But I could always use more gay male friends in my life. I love my gay community. I'm really proud to represent on your podcast for the Pride Month, and I hope that I do justice to everybody. I mostly said LGBT, but I don't want to leave out Q.
Yeah,
that queer identity.
Yeah.
Everybody's all about that Q, trying not to label themselves, gender non-conforming, agender, non-binary. All of these terms that are percolating and bubbling. It's a really fascinating ongoing discussion of, we're so quick to want to label and categorize everybody.
Like, oh, you're gay.
Even
you're
because
straight.
even
LGBT,
that B that's so often really forgotten in there, the bisexual identity. The thing about bisexual identity is that it assumes the binary. It assumes that there's only male and female. And so a lot of more people these days are trying to identify as pansexual, that they...
Is that you love everybody?
Yes. Yeah. Pansexual, everybody has a slightly different definition for it, but I would say that pansexual is attracted to all genders, more because there are maybe more than two genders. Yeah. I actually really recommend a documentary that Katie Couric did.
My queen.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was MSNBC or CNN, but it's on Netflix now, and I can't remember but it's gender... I don't know. Google Katie Couric gender, and you'll find this documentary, and it really explores this topic from a biological and scientific standpoint, a historical and cultural standpoint, and and where we are as a society today. And it's fascinating. Our youth growing up today that are seeing images, in culture and in the news of people, because the fact of the matter is the way we define gender is a social construct. Men wearing pants and women wearing dresses, that's a social construct. That didn't even exist in the same way 200 years ago. Men would wear tunics and things.
Kilts.
All sorts of, kilts, all sorts of different, and men used to wear different kinds of makeup and different, so really breaking down why we... And the pink and blue is a very 20th century thing.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, like, whenever
really
I become a mom
century.
or like when I'm expecting a child, give me greens
Everything
and yellows or purples. I don't want to, no, we're not going to do that.
I mean, yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Robert was telling me about some coworkers of his that are raising their child genderless, which might be a step too far.
Yeah, I
debatably,
mean, let the
it
child
could really
choose whatever
confuse
color
them.
they want to love.
Once they are able to
choose their favorite color.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there was a kid, oh wow, I like completely forgot about this. I had to have been maybe 5, and I had a friend named Christopher, and he loved the color pink, and he got picked on all the time. And I'm like, why are you guys picking on Christopher? He likes pink. What's the big deal?
Go, Christopher.
I wonder how he's doing now.
I like when them boys wear pink. I like when them boys wear... I have not yet mentioned my love for Todrick Hall, my undying love for Todrick Hall. I cannot recommend highly enough his new album and visual album, Forbidden.
He's just
he
very
is such a hustler.
talented.
He is on. Actually, when we were talking about Pulse earlier, I was reminded of his Straight Outta Oz documentary Behind
That
the
was
Curtain,
good.
also on Netflix. Straight Outta Oz is amazing, but there's a
documentary
about making Straight Outta Oz,
Ooh.
and it talks about how they were getting ready to shoot a video called Water Guns with Jordan Sparks. Because obviously there had been school shootings in the several months preceding, and suddenly they're recording this song and getting ready to shoot this video, and Pulse Orlando happened.
So they were like, let's
No, they did it.
They still did it.
They still did it, and they were able to. He shot that thing nonstop. For like 2 months, recording and filming. And I remember, the full visual album came out right before Pride, just about 2 weeks later in June. Of 2016, and it said "We Are Orlando" on the wall in one shot, and I'm like, how did they turn this around that fast? That just happened.
I wish I had seen him in Kinky Boots.
Oh,
That would've been great.
I lived across the street from Kinky Boots at the time. I was living on 45th Street.
jealousy.
So every day, when the show would end, every single show, because I was on the ground floor, we would hear at the stage door everybody screaming when Todrick would come out.
So talented.
So talented. I've heard, I hear the issues that people have taken with him, and he's heard them too, Lord knows, and he's addressed them directly. But he's really the first male artist that I have been so compelled to, and I just think he's incredible.
So, last question. What's
Yeah.
some of the advice that you can give to people who may be struggling with themselves, not only as members of the LGBT community, but straight people as well? Because straight people also have hella issues.
Nobody has ever asked me for advice in my life, this kind of advice. I listen to an embarrassing amount of podcasts as well, and any advice that I would give would just be rehashing some of the best advice that I have heard. And what it all boils down to for me is about loving yourself and accepting yourself, owning your flaws, being self-aware enough to recognize the things that you need to work on. But, for people that are struggling with their own identity and acceptance, thank God every minute that we live in this day and age. I mean, right now we're going through some rough stuff in the political climate, but overall, acceptance and understanding is happening. Conversations are happening. People are waking up. We woke, quote unquote. And that, even if your biological family doesn't understand, there are so many of us out there that do, and you can find your tribe. I think for many decades, gay people have been drawn to metropolitan areas and big cities in general, and you meet an awful lot of people that come from small towns and find their tribe here in New York. And there is a beautiful community. Yes, there are bitchy queens left, right, and center, but there's also so many incredible people that I have been so fortunate to meet and get to know, and dance to the beat of your own drum. What other people think about me is none of my goddamn business. Lest they paying your bills, pay them bitches no mind. Those are both RuPaul quotes. Listen to music, sing your song, and love yourself. I don't know.
Yes, I love it. That was a great question and answer section.
Yes, I mean I went way above and beyond with every question that you asked.
Totally fine.
I talk too much.
Because there are a couple people who I've had on the show where I'm like, you don't answer enough. Like I'm like prying it out.
Oh, you don't have to pull with me. I give.
Yes.
I'll just give and give.
Give and give. So the last segment of our show.
Yes.
Unpopular opinions.
Oh my gosh.
So you just give an unpopular opinion and we talk about it. I had this one saved since last time, so I'll say mine first.
Okay, yes.
Oh my God, I fucking hate the song Sweet Caroline. I think it's a terrible song. Every time I hear it, I want to punch myself in the head. I hate that song so much. I think it's horrible. and that's mine. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I feel you on that.
Ugh, like every time I hear it, I'm like, this song is trash.
Oh my gosh. That made me think of mine, because the song that I cannot stand and really would love to never hear again is Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Oh, that's another.
I have heard that song more than enough times to last a lifetime. You know, I do a lot of karaoke with my friends. I've been in a competitive karaoke league on and off for several years, and I'm so fucking sick of that song.
You know what song I also
It's a
hate?
good song. I'm just fucking sick of it.
It is good.
Like,
I just like you.
I would love to not hear it for 10 years.
And then I'll maybe like go back and hear it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember we went to a baseball game last year, me and my friends in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I had like earlier on our trip, I had just discussed like how much I hate Sweet Caroline. I'm like, there's a couple songs in this world that like, it's just like I cannot.
And then everybody goes, so good. So
yes,
good.
it's so stupid. And they sang like they played it over the loudspeakers at the baseball game. So there's a video of everyone like singing, and I like videotape my face, and I'm like, I look like Grumpy Cat. I hated it. I hate that song so much. And another song I really hate. I hate Come On Eileen. I hate that song.
You're not going to get an argument from me.
Ooh, I hate Come On Eileen. I don't know what it is. But it's funny because like the ska version doesn't bother me nearly as much.
I'm not sure I've ever heard the ska version.
Oh, the ska version is pretty good. It's by, dang, who sings the ska version? I can't remember.
I thought of another unpopular opinion that's much more...
Let's go for it. Like, just keep talking that shit.
You know, timely. I'm having a hard time getting on Post Malone.
Same.
Yeah.
I think he just
looks
looks
he's
really
number
dirty.
one this week with Psycho. Psycho just hit number one.
I've never heard that song in my life.
I've heard it on the radio a few
All I've
times
heard, the only
now.
song I've heard
I
from
could
Post
not
Malone
tell
is
you.
that.
Yeah. Like, and he's so surprisingly young. I think he's only
21
like,
or 22.
Oh my God, he's a child.
He looks so old.
I'm immediately biased against men with long hair in general. That's my own issue. Like
I'm writing you off right away.
It just is unappealing to me personally.
He just looks very gross, like grody.
I agree.
Like he has dirt under his nails.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Like I don't. And then
he
what is he? He's technically a rapper, right?
I mean, but he does an awful lot of singing.
He does other music as well. But he said this thing recently. I mean, not recently, maybe like 5 or 6 months ago. But he said basically like, if you're looking for deep music, don't go to hip hop. I'm like, then why are you profiting off of hip hop if you're going to be the one to talk shit about it? Like, you have the number one song in America. At the time, he had the number one song in America with Rockstar. It's a hip hop song. He has a rapper in it. He has 21 Savage in it. But you're going to sit here and still talk shit about hip hop? If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. You want to play your guitar, like you said you want to do, like, oh, I listen to Bob Dylan when I want to do deep shit. Then make deep shit and play your guitar and get out of hip hop. Thank you.
Yes. Tell him.
Thank you.
Snaps. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, Tatiana used to say that a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like, how can you turn thank you into one of your catchphrases?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know. He's like really dirty looking.
Yeah.
I do find Rockstar is a catchy song. Since I'm only saying Rockstar because that's the only Post Malone song I know.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to go out of my way to listen to him. But the kids love him. Apparently, he got a really loud applause. Like people were going nuts for him.
I thought of another unpopular opinion.
Yes.
BTS.
What?
What?
Oh my God. I think BTS
I have a friend who's obsessed
talented.
with K-pop.
I think
like beyond obsessed with K-pop.
So talented.
But like watching the Billboard Music Awards.
Oh, that wasn't good.
It was embarrassing.
That wasn't good.
The
they don't
audience
have really good,
was going so crazy.
They didn't have good breath
for
control.
BTS. Like I guess a significant amount of Korean people flew to Vegas.
There was a lot of
to
just
see
like
the award
even
show.
like just
but,
white girls
it
and black
made
girls.
Everybody else look bad that the audience was cheering so loudly for BTS when Kelly Clarkson would just say their name or the camera would pan to a shot of them. The crowd was screaming hysterically.
They're
like Beatlemania level hysteria.
They're bigger. I think they're bigger than One Direction was.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Without a doubt, they're bigger than One Direction.
You know, their social media fan base is beyond, although debatably it could be a lot of bots because the K-pop industry, they buy a lot of bots too.
Yeah, I remember one time
Billboard
had tweeted something about BTS, and 3 minutes later it had 14,000 retweets.
Yeah, when Billboard did that fan army bracket battle.
Oh yeah,
The K-pop artists destroyed they destroyed Adele, Beyonce, Taylor Swift.
It's wild.
Every single person, those K-pop artists.
Now here's the thing: when they performed at the Billboards, I thought it was really bad, but they performed at another award show. Like, I don't remember how long ago. I don't remember. Maybe it was the American Music Awards, and I thought they crushed it. I was like, wow, I see it. I understand.
They dance.
They dance very well. The choreography is on point. They give me real boy band vibes because, like, when I think of boy bands. Growing up in the boy band era, I think of NSYNC, I think of the Backstreet Boys, I think of 98 Degrees didn't really dance like that, but like that's who I think of. So like when One Direction and the Jonas Brothers and stuff came out, I was like, well, they're not a boy band because they don't dance.
Yeah.
So BTS comes out and I'm like, ah.
I'm also very lyrically driven in general, and like this friend of mine, Kelvin, has gotten me hooked on. Every time he comes over to my house, we just watch K-pop videos for hours.
Fake love.
Yeah. And usually the girl groups get me going a little bit more.
Blackpink is that group.
Yes.
Blackpink is
There was this one
good.
group that's like probably not as well known called Pristin.
Pristin?
Yeah. Pristin.
Pristin.
We are Pristin. And they had one or two
they're
songs.
A K-pop group?
Yeah. They had a song wee 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 that was for some reason the song that I just kept gravitating towards.
The song by Blackpink, I think it's called Whistle.
I'm not sure.
Oh, it is a banger. I love that song.
Baby Metal, they're Japanese. Baby Metal is J-pop. Do you know them?
I don't know many J-pop groups.
But I feel like you might have heard of Baby Metal. They had that song "Gimme Gimme Chocolate," and their music it's heavy metal
somewhere.
Guitars. It is like heavy metal guitars, and then them. That's worth a Google because they are really. But they're not even J-pop. They're heavy metal music with. Like
J-pop and
little girl vocals.
With little girl
vocals. It's really.
What's the difference between K-pop and J-pop? Just because one's
Korea
from Korea and one's from Japan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there like a sound?
I am
like a
not
sonic
an expert.
Difference?
Oh, I'm the wrong person to ask. I should know.
I need to
really
find
have no
a
idea.
K and J-pop connoisseur.
Yes, it's fascinating to me though that BTS has broken through to the American market the way that they have.
They
because,
really have.
You know, the American market has been so hesitant to let in. You know, obviously, Psy Gangnam Style was like that. Was
I hated that shit. I
really
hated it
broke through
so much.
But now, you know, this feels like the fans are speaking and driving video views and driving traffic.
They are so popular. Oh my
BTS
word.
is crazy popular.
And like, you know how like with certain boy bands, like One Direction, like they're all cute. Is BTS's success based on their looks or is it based on their talents?
I am the wrong person.
I feel like they are good though. Like they are good at what they do. I can
if
see
it is based on their looks, I love that because I think there is a lack of Asian representation in American media in general. Just yesterday I was listening to one of my faves, Grace Helbig, has a podcast.
Is that the one with the ukulele? Or the little, what does she play? Not Grace Helbig. Oh my God, I was thinking of that Grace Vanderwaal.
Oh, I love her too,
There's too many Graces in my life.
I love Grace Vanderwaal. But no, Grace Helbig is the one who used to date Chester C.
AKA Ms. Cookie.
Ms. Cookie.
Killing the game.
But she had, oh gosh, and now I can't even remember his name. She had an Asian actor on her show, Asian comedian. He's in that movie Pretty Rich Asians that I'm pretty excited
about. That movie looks
about.
very funny.
Yeah. And he's also on Silicon Valley. And, you know, there is like a upsetting lack of Asian, East and South Asian representation in American media. And they are so rarely seen as attractive, as sexual, as, you know, leading man types, as, you know, as figures, objects of attraction. And so if BTS is, you know, seen as really handsome and, you know, if little girls are attracted to them, in my mind, that's only good.
Cool, yeah.
That's great because, you know, they deserve to be seen as handsome and beautiful.
But everybody, oh my gosh, like even at the Billboards, there was like Korean fans that liked them. There was black girls I saw singing the songs. There was a black girl sitting next to me on the train last week who was listening to BTS. I like glanced over and saw she was listening to BTS. I was like, good. There was white girls. There's like BTS is a universal.
I need to give them another shot. So I take back that unpopular opinion.
They have a song with Designer called Mic Drop.
Like Panda Panda?
Yes. That song
I haven't thought about him in a while.
is so good. You have to listen to Mic Drop. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I got bras in Atlanta. Credit cards and the scammers.
I forget the song. Wow. I got bras in Atlanta, credit cards and scammers. What is the rest of that song?
And Panda, Panda, Panda.
Oh my gosh. I saw Ocean's 8 over the weekend and
Oh
Designer.
my God, I need to see that movie.
Designer was in the movie.
Oh shit.
He had a speaking part. Well, not like a speaking part. He had like a line.
Now they filmed
And
it
I was
at
like,
last
oh,
year's
look.
Met Gala, right? In the movie, is the Met Gala carpet red?
Oh, I
Because
think
this
so.
year,
I think it was.
the carpet was like white, like a cream color with gold accents.
I think it was red. I don't remember.
I have to see
I don't
that
remember
movie.
that detail. But
I've had MoviePass for months, and I've been so busy I've stopped using it, and now I'm just like wasting $10 a month not seeing movies.
Ugh.
I'm about to cancel my MoviePass though for several reasons.
Why?
The price is about to go up. You know, they have
Oh.
so many more restrictions now. You got to take a picture of your ticket to prove that you saw it, because I have no problem admitting I was going on MoviePass, buying a ticket to one thing, and then, you know, sneaking into the 4DX Infinity War or you know, whatever other movie I wanted to see that it wasn't letting me see. And they're trying to make you stop doing that. So they want you to take a picture of your ticket. Yeah, and it's like you can only see every movie once and only certain showings, and they're making all these different restrictions. You know, they sell your data. They're trying so hard to make money, and they're hemorrhaging money. By next year, I'm sure that the monthly fee for MoviePass is going to like triple. So the MoviePass heyday, you know, the Wild West.
It was
of
fun while
MoviePass,
it lasted. It was a
fun
good 2
while it
months.
lasted. Yep.
Kind of like all these other, you know, fads. Like Coney 2012. That was, that was a cute little
Coney
fad.
2012.
Or Wake Up Now. Have you ever heard of Wake Up Now?
No.
Oh my God, Brandon, have you ever heard of Wake Up Now?
Is that one of
It's
those
basically-
pyramid schemes?
Yes.
It was. Okay, that sounds familiar.
Yes, it was. It was like, oh, like I made $5,000 in a day
Yeah.
because of Wake Up Now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no,
okay,
now
I'm
it's
sure
ringing-
you did.
It's ringing a little bit of a bell.
Oh my God, there was a kid from my college who like was heavy into Wake Up Now, and he was like, oh, I rep Wake Up Now. Like, this is how I got rich fast. I'm like, where? No.
Yeah, I've had
stop.
people on Facebook try to get me to buy into. I can't even remember the names of all
Coney
the fucking...
2012 was the funniest shit because like after like everyone was like, oh my God, like we have to stop. What was it? They had to stop Joseph Coney.
Yeah, he was a really evil
yeah,
guy
he was like from
in
like
Nigeria.
Africa or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
So they're like,
child
we
army, child
have to stop
soldiers.
him, and then like.
Nothing
I remember
happened.
at my college, like there was like maybe we had like a whole Facebook group.
It's
about
funny,
it.
but it's not funny because
know.
that's still a real issue.
That was it
in
is,
West
but like
Africa.
the fact that like people got all like he got the rabble rousers and
Yeah.
he got it going, and then like he got like arrested like a day later for like streaking in the streets and banging on the floor
Oh
naked.
my God!
Like he was
I
like
forgot
on
about
drugs
that.
or
That
some
was
shit.
here in this. I feel like that was in this neighborhood in Brooklyn.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my God!
Some
I
crazy
forgot
stuff
about
happens
that.
in this area. Yeah, it was like
that.
literally like a day or two after that thing took off, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, we have to stop Joseph Coney." And then like everyone's like, "Nah, this guy is clearly on
Totally
drugs."
crazy.
And then I think when it was like 4/20, 2012 for the Joseph Coney thing, and we had people around campus. We had like it was supposed to be like 60 something people.
Yeah.
Ended up being maybe like 5, and they stuck flyers on the campus, and they were ripped down immediately because we're like, this is a scam, guys. I hope Joseph Coney got stopped.
I really don't
'Cause,
think
like-
that he did. But then in the years later, it just became like I feel like that and Harambe. They became just
Harambe.
like memes that you just tag on to be like, remember this fucking meme. Hashtag Coney 2012. Hashtag
Like Harambe.
you know, justice for Harambe or whatever.
Man, I love the internet,
Like,
but I hate it at the same time.
I feel you. I feel you on that
Oh
one.
my God. Well, that is the end of our show.
Oh my God.
Let's do our sign off and we'll.
Did anybody actually make it through listening to however
Oh God,
long
I know
we
a
were
couple
just
people
going on and
probably
on?
heard the entire thing, and I'm totally
Respect. My mother being one of them. I love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom.
Mama Paula.
Mama
She just
Paula.
turned 70.
Happy birthday!
Happy 70th birthday, Mom. I'm so, so grateful. I love you so much. Love to Robert and my dad, Scott, my sister, Alexandra. Shout outs to repping, big ups to Hell's Kitchen.
Rep the set, Hell's Kitchen. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna rep New Jersey. That's all I ever really rap.
Hey.
Yeah, shout out to Jersey, the Dirty Jers.
Dirty Jers.
So let's do our sign off. Here we go. That's all for And Friends with Jana Jefferson. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JNA Jefferson, and follow the show on Instagram at And Friends Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes, the podcast app, and Google Play, where you can stay up to date on new episodes when they become available. And if you'd like to be a guest host on the show, hit me up at andfriendsguest@gmail.com. And we'll keep in touch. Extreme thanks to my guest host for today, Zach Aaronson, for being incredible.
Thank you, Jana Jefferson, for being even more incredible, for having me, for helping me get over my fear of speaking into a recording, for, the fact that now there is over an hour of me talking that will exist no matter what happens to me, so that the world can know who I was and what I loved.
I was here.
Yeah.
I lived.
I loved. I was here. I did this podcast. I was in this basement with Jana, and it was more than I thought it would be. So everyone will know I was here. Yes.
Okay. So you have anything to promote?
I was just thinking that if people really want to find me on social media, it's all public at Zach Aaronson, ZACHAARONSON. Find me on Twitter and Insta. I don't post a ton. I'm much more of a lurker. I'm always on there, but I'm gonna start posting a little bit more. I do a lot of retweeting entertainment news.
Yes.
And that's all I have to plug.
I had fun.
I have fun. I'm so glad to be here. You can find me at Sid Gold's Request Room Piano Bar every now and then, but I can't tell you when.
Whenever I feel inclined to sing.
Find it.
So obviously our closing remarks are always a quick little subtle FU to Donald Trump, but also some constructive feedback. Because we used to do like a straight up FU, like FU, you suck. You're awful. But
I need to read more about this fucking summit in North Korea that just happened.
I have to read about that too.
I'm a little behind on my news for today. I heard that he's softening his immigration stance right now. I don't know.
I can't even keep up.
I can't fucking keep up.
But now we do basically like what you should do instead of tweeting, Donald. Tweet.
Christ.
So instead of tweeting this week, Donald, I think you can go buy some Kleenex for Dennis Rodman. Because he's out here crying real hard. He had a MAGA hat on too. Like it just.
Oh my God! I saw this whole gaggle of little boys wearing MAGA hats in Times Square the other day. It was
just
very
upsetting. I've never seen a MAGA hat in person except on little children. Is that the saddest thing?
There were parents there with them.
I've never seen an adult with a MAGA hat. I've only seen children, and it freaks me out every time.
Oh, for a long time I tried not to even ever say his name. We would just say 45.
Voldemort or 45.
Yeah, 45, because it's triggering. It's so upsetting. I remember back before the election thinking I'm never going to have to see him or hear his name again.
I was looking forward to it.
God, how wrong we were.
So disappointed. I still rep Hillary. I am still with her. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you think about my admiration of Hillary Clinton. She is a bad bitch. I always loved Hillary Clinton.
Second that. Ditto.
Ways, but you continue.
What he should do instead of tweeting is recognize Pride Month.
Oh yeah,
fly a rainbow flag, light up the White House rainbow.
I hope so.
This is not okay.
Yeah, I really hope that he can. He's just so sucky.
But we will get through this.
We will.
Soon enough, he'll be fucking.
But
done.
like we said, November 6th, light it up blue in the polls. We got to get some blue asses in the seats.
Yeah. What's that campaign? Glam up the midterms. That Billy Eichner, glam up the midterms.
My king.
Yes.
But glam up those midterms.
Yes.
All right, listeners. This was fun. I had fun. Zach had fun.
The best.
And I hope you had fun. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another guest. And we'll see what we do. Bye, guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Can I get a name, man? Like I'm RuPaul over here.